Since they began with us, they've kind of brought in this whole new era of positivity and generosity. Can we please have Victoria and Michael stand? And I think they deserve the hugest round of applause, please. We are so fortunate to have them. They are busy people, and speaking as one past senior counselor, I think they're probably two of our best. So we owe them a lot. They've worked really hard. All right, without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Kyle Smith and the Bellis Symphony Orchestra.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your patience as well. So one of the things that we do here at camp is we have a giant symphony orchestra. Every single student in the entire camp is put together, all the strings, all the woodwinds, all the brass, and all of the percussion. For many of them, this is the first time that they get to have this experience. Usually it's something that happens when you get older, but we love that they get the opportunity here at camp. This is the largest symphony orchestra we've ever had here at Bellis. To my understanding, it's about 150 people, and so we are crammed very tightly in here. We have a couple selections prepared for you that we'd like to play. The first one comes from the Baroque era, and this is a piece called Water Music. For this piece, when it was written back in the late 1600s, early 1700s, in England, the aristocracy, all of the rich people used to like to have these parties, and they would take boats down the Thames River. And they liked to have entertainment as well, but unfortunately an orchestra couldn't fit on the boat. So what they did is they would hire a separate boat, and that boat had the orchestra, and they would float down the river together. So here's a piece written by Handel, and this is Water Music. All right, while they get their next piece set up, I want to talk a little bit about something else that we do here at camp. One of the things that we do that's right after their favorite period of the day, which is rest period, is our small chamber ensemble groups. So for that period, every group is put into a small group of somewhere between 4 to 10-ish musicians. We give them music and then we send them out all over camp, and they work to prepare another piece, yet another piece. And they work on their own, and they have counselors and JCs that help them. And basically, we as teachers just kind of walk around and check in and see how they're doing, help them with little tiny things. But they do all of it essentially on their own. And then on Thursday night, we also do a little chamber ensemble performance. So they've already done one concert this week. They did it for each other on Thursday night. So that's a lot of fun. And then this year, for the first time, we had a little staff ensemble night as well. And so we did that on Tuesday. For many of them who have never done chamber music before, it was their first time to kind of see how a chamber concert works. And so we had some staff play solos, we had some staff play in trios. We did a piece with all the staff as well, and so we enjoyed doing that for them, and that was our chamber night. For our next conductor, I'm going to go ahead and bring up my good friend and mentor, Jack Taylor.
Thank you. This next piece is entitled Scheherazade. It was originally composed by Rimsky-Korsakov. It's masterfully arranged by our resident composer, Mr. Richard Meyer. And it's the story of 1001 Nights. And so you're going to hear storytelling from our orchestra, hopefully. And it's, of course, the story goes, Scheherazade tells a new story every night so that she can stay alive, because of course the king doesn't want her to. And so she really she's very keen. She doesn't ever end the story. So he has to keep her alive for another night because he wants to hear the end of the story. He's got to hear the end. And she does this, of course, for 1001 nights. And finally she says, I've got nothing. I'm done with my stories. And the king, of course, by this time has fallen in love with her, and they live happily ever after. So here's the story of Scheherazade. And I need my music first. Somewhere. Oh, it's here. Sorry.
before we begin our last piece for this concert, there are two other people that I'd really like to thank and recognize. First,
Yeah, hold on. And before you do that, listen, this guy right here, he has made the transition from one director to another very seamless. I've known Alex for a long time. He is absolutely one of the most professional people I've ever met, but this takes a ton of work. And you really have to be in 15 places at once, have your finger in every single situation that's going on, and he makes it look easy. I don't know how he does it. And we all really, really appreciate the work that he does. So we need to thank Mr. Chu, our director.
I'd like to share that with two very special ladies. First is someone who's been very active at camp. She keeps us safe, she keeps us healthy, she makes sure we take our meds, and if we're ever feeling sick or unwell, she's there to comfort us. And please give a huge round of applause to Ms. Delaney McKendrick, our camp nurse. And the other person that we cannot miss thanking is someone who has always been behind the scenes. You get many, many emails from her. She makes sure this camp runs. Yes, I'm up here, but back down the mountain, she is the one who I go to for any help and support. We start planning Bellis Music Camp January. Maybe even after next week, we're gonna plan next year together. So can we please have her stand and totally thank her, Ms. Rose Meyer, our camp administrator. I'd like to have stand. One of our camp traditions here in Bellis has a lot of traditions, is that at the end of the week, we award the Bellis Spirit Award, which is that beautiful bell sitting on the stage right over there, to the cabin, which exemplifies camp spirit throughout the week. Camp spirit is not just costumes, it's not just decorations, it's being that cabin that shows the rest of the camp what teamwork, generosity, and friendship really means. Now, they might not have known each other at the start of the week, but we couldn't have told, right? We couldn't tell. So can we please have our 2023 Bellis Spirit Award winners, our cabin, please rise, the Bellis Pickles. Alrighty, I'm gonna pass this off to our conductors for our last piece. Oh, I totally have forgotten. I'm gonna invite Mr. Garcia up for one more thank you recognition, and Mr. Meyer.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chu. Thank you, Alex. Well, they mentioned that the Bellis Music Camp has a lot of traditions. And one of the traditions that Richard Bellis, which is Larry Bellis' son, started was naming certain buildings or locations around camp to remember certain individuals that really helped the camp in the past. So that's why we have Bussey Hall and Ling Center and Rounds Court, Duffy Dining Hall. Anyway, I've been waiting to do this since 2020. 2020 was the 50th anniversary of my first year at camp. So my first year at camp was 1970. I've been waiting to do this since then. So it's a long time coming. But I want to recognize a former teacher that was here on staff. She was a great teacher. She taught at Elliott and at Pasadena Polytechnic. She's a mentor to many of the teachers we have here on staff today. I went to many camps with her. I got a chance to meet her wonderful family, her husband, her children, went to camp with them. She's the one that started a tradition of the last piece that we play at every concert, Wildwood Flower. And you can see the score right there. Rosemary, if you're listening to this, you can see that me and the score have a lot in common. We're both a little worn and tattered. We both had some minor repairs done to us. but we're still functional and efficient. So, Rosemarie, as my last official act as director here at Bellis Music Camp, I would like to name this podium in your honor. That everyone who takes this podium and directs these kids will know that it's an honor and a privilege to be conducting this group, and at the high standards that you help establish here at camp. Thank you, Rosemarie. I love you very much, not just as a person, but for everything you've done for camp. I can't thank you enough.
Ditto. And I don't know if he mentioned her last name, but Rosemarie Cravoza, this will be the Rosemarie Cravoza podium. She's alive and well in Central California, little older than me, but not much. And where she moved into, the adult center she's conducting an orchestra every week. She found out who plays strings, get in my orchestra. She never stops. She plays in string quartets constantly. So she was my master teacher when I was right out of college and was put into a school. Elliott was the school I was put into in Altadena, and I watched her and I learned so much of my craft from Rosemarie. And she's one of my dear friends. We actually premiered a piece at Bellis, Lithuanian Nocturne, that I wrote and dedicated to her. So she's a part of this camp. She runs through this camp deep. And as Mr. Garcia said, she's in the woods with us all the time. And she taught me so much. Miss Lim, I know, Miss Kubota. Jack Taylor was actually in her orchestra, and she encouraged Mr. Taylor to keep going and play. In fact, I think she was your first private teacher, wherever he is now.
Yeah.
Yeah? So,
By choice, she made me.
he said, not by choice, she made me take lessons. But it was worth it. So we love her, Rosemarie. So this is the Rosemarie Cravoza podium. Now, right, this area, wherever we conduct, and we'll be thinking of her. And she did bring Wildwood Flower to camp, and she brought a lot of the whole string program to camp. It was sort of a marching band camp. She brought the strings to Bellis. And I've toured with PYSO with her, and that score has been to Austria and Australia and Canada, and we played this song in all those locations. And this is our annual closer. It's called Wildwood Flower, and we're going to have all the different conductors conduct, including a guest conductor, the nurse, and you will see us all get to conduct a few measures of Wildwood Flower. So this is our tradition.
One thing before Wildwood Flower, I'm going to ask Mr. Meyer to stay up here with me. And I'm going to ask Dennis to come down and help me out a little bit. Last year I did not get a chance to perform that piece that Mr. Meyer dedicated to me called Chameleon Concerto. And so this is a small token of my appreciation for a person that's been my roommate at camp for many camps. Many camps. And as I was telling the camp a few days ago, look for things that are common, and you would think, what do Mr. Meyer and Mr. Garcia have in common? It turns out that we have a lot in common, you know. And you something we come from different families, different cultures, but it doesn't matter. We have a lot in common, and you spend a week with a person, and it's almost like spending a miniature lifetime with them. And anyway, he's been a good friend over the years. We swap a lot of stories, family stories especially, with our children, and we've had many common experiences. And Mr. Meyer, thank you. I also want to thank Miss Lim for pinch hitting for me last year and playing the solo. Yes, the reason I say pinch hit because I heard she hit a home run.
How many heard that? Did you hear the chameleon? Yeah, she was our first.
So, Mr. Meyer, you can take out the little gift that I gave you and show it to everybody. As soon as I saw it, I thought of you.
Bubble wrap. Oh, it's a little conductor. Look out. It has a nut for the head. There it is.
thank you all once again for putting up with our annex camp, and I want to thank the parents one more time for bringing your children up here. I hope to see you in the future. Thank you very much.
let's give our orchestra another round of applause, please. That was amazing. Before we finish our concert, I just have a couple notes and reminders. Number one, some good news and a note. As you'll know, to come up here, we had to be escorted up. I'm happy to tell you all that that's not the case on the way down. We're all free to go as we wish. There's going to be someone at the gate to make sure that's unlocked so that we can all just go whenever we like. And a reminder, after the concert is a little bit of a blur. We have a lot of campers grabbing their stuff. We have people going up and down. Please, as you're in your cars, let's watch the road. Make sure there's no campers walking around, and be really patient and flexible with each other as we all try to get out of here safely. Number two, I've already forgotten, so we're just going to move on. As I said, Bellis Music Camp has a lot of traditions, and at the end of every night, one of the things that we do as a camp is we sing Kumbaya together, led by our counselors. So at this moment, I would like to invite our counselors and any Bellis alumni, campers, JCs, counselors, if you could please make your way up. We'd like to end our concert with Kumbaya with you all. Okay, we're going to let them come on up. I just remembered, at the end of our concert, if we could have some help bringing our moving chairs up to, or our folding chairs up to the truck, we'd really appreciate it. Thank you.